Okay. So I'm gonna like run and just shut these doors real quick or crack them, I guess, so we still get some airflow, but hopefully not too much disruption, although it does seem like a slightly quieter day today. And if anybody wants to take any of those cupcakes or cookies home with them, like you guys don't necessarily have to be the ones to eat them, like bring them to your families. All good with that. All right. Ooh. So thank you both for being with me today. I'm so excited. I appreciate you taking another hour out of your Friday before you get to call it quits and go home for the weekend. So thank you. Oh, anytime. I'm always here to help as much as I can. So the purpose of today's orientation, I'm like kind of excited because I don't think I've got anyone online. So I can actually kind of like face you guys, which is nice. So the purpose of orientation is we're going to go over kwbresources.com because that's going to be probably one of the biggest websites that's available to you guys. And I'm actually going to clip it and see if I can get away with that instead. But this is going to be one of the biggest resource hubs for you guys for a lot of the different information that you'll be asked to retrieve, or maybe finding yourselves needing at particular times. So we're going to go through everything together today because especially it is just the two of us. If you guys have any questions at any point, personally, I'm terrible about remembering those questions by the end of a session. So feel free to shout out any questions that you have, raise your hand, anything like that. We'll pause and we'll go back through things. The other thing that I will mention is I do talk a little bit fast, and I apologize. I do try to like keep that at bay, but if you guys notice that I'm going too fast at any point, just ask me to slow down and I'll do my best for you. But without further ado, this is kwbresources.com. That's going to be the website that we are going to just dive right into today. And this is where you guys are going to hopefully be visiting fairly frequently, at least to start out. So when you do arrive at kwbresources.com, the first thing you'll see here is the new agent button. And I always recommend go ahead and click on that because the great thing behind this button is a lot of this is relevant information to you guys right now. If you were to click on this learn more information, it will open a separate sheet here and it just goes over basically the onboarding process as a gist, which both of you are thoroughly through your onboarding process. So you can kind of go straight to the bottom section here. The bottom section is going to refer to things you guys can be doing immediately. And that really starts with participating in Ignite, coming to office meetings, which I know you guys have been very diligent about, and we appreciate that. And that's really just because one, it helps to build, of course, a sense of community. And so you guys can start to establish those relationships with others in the office. But two, we do think that it helps to build a really strong foundation. And hopefully, as I know that it can feel like a fire hose sometimes, but hopefully with each bit that you guys get, while it still might be a lot of new information, hopefully it is starting to help lay the groundwork where things are starting to fall into place. I know also sometimes all it takes is like that first action item, and then things start to really feel like, okay, now I know all these things, but sometimes you don't need to reference the information right away. That is okay, but I am here to make sure that you guys at least know where to find all of it. So in addition to those office meetings, another thing that we will go over is we've got some Facebook pages. I believe both of you are part of the core one that I will refer to. I'll introduce you both to a second one as well today. And then also making sure, especially for you lovely ladies, if you plan to be here as often as you were throughout Ignite, hopefully on a fairly regular basis. Iris, I know you live like right around the corner, so hopefully I will see you all the time. So at the very bottom here is registering your car with Torrington Preferred Parking. So we do have some visitor spots outside. Those visitor spots are intended to just be 2 hours at a time, and they're very limited. There's about 5 or 6 of them. But we do have the majority of this lot directly out in front of the building here. But that technically you are expected to have a parking pass with you. It is free for you guys to register for your vehicle, and you can actually register up to 3 vehicles under the same pass. So spouse, roommate, anybody like that, if you ever think maybe I'll be driving their car if mine's in the shop, it can't hurt to just go ahead and register all of those vehicles under one pass. But when you click on that link there, it's going to take you straight to this website. It is very user friendly. You'll create a simple login right here just for this site. It'll ask you what building you're in, and you'll notice on the map here, you'll be able to see it a little bit more visually, but we are building 2. And then you'll also be able to select that you're with Keller Williams include the information about those 3 vehicles, and then you can hit click here to continue to registration. And that is just it's again, free for you guys, very simple. The big thing to note is that when that pass does arrive to our office, it will be hand delivered by somebody with Torrington. And when it is brought over to us, we do place it into your mail folders. Do both of us know where our mail folders are? Okay, Angel, yes, yours perfect. I was gonna say, if not, that's the next thing. See, this is kind of like neat. I normally don't have an orientation that backs directly up to an Ignite. So a lot of this stuff you guys will be somewhat familiar with already just from having been here. So if at any point you guys are ready, you know the information, I will kind of go on to the next bit here to help you save some time. But I will try to make sure we have a thorough understanding of everything here. So no.
That we still do this even though we're moving in February?
So it can't hurt, again, seeing as it's free for you guys, it can't hurt to go through that process. And mainly just because, again, I've not seen someone be towed, but I do know that they are still they'll circulate the parking lots just to check and make sure. So if anything else, it'll just let them know that your car is to be expected here on a regular basis and not to disturb it. Yeah. And so we are I don't know if anyone saw the recent announcement, but we're gonna be moving a little bit closer to March, end of March. So it would be worthwhile because we still do have about 3 more months here in this particular building. So it would be a worthwhile thing, I think, especially seeing it as free. And then when we get to the new building, you guys will have the joy of potentially doing it all over again. So hopefully that's a very smooth process, just as this is. But I will keep you guys informed of everything that I find out. Good. Thank you. So I'm going to close out because that is just the preferred parking site. And again, that was, sorry. So that was all under the getting started information here. On the right-hand side under basic training, if you were to select learn more, this is actually going to take you to Scott Leroy Marketing's their website. And Scott Leroy Marketing is going to be who created all of your tech setup, ladies. They are also going to kind of be your right-hand man with tech assistance. Similar to Jules and Leah, they have a very strong KW technology background. They partner with several hundred market centers across the nation. So they are very, very great at what they do. They're also very highly responsive. So if you guys are looking, especially if it's closer to a weird hour, or maybe it's a Monday and you know Jules and Leah aren't going to be in the office that day, and you're having an issue getting into your DocuSign, you can email Scott Leroy Marketing in that moment. And normally I would say you hear back from them within about 5 to 10 minutes. So they're very responsive. They're here to help. All they usually need is your login information. They'll log in as you and check everything on the back end to make sure it's running smoothly and help you to figure out any issues and then give you the corrections or solutions for those problems. So they're very, very helpful. A lot of times they'll even take care of those resolutions for you, which is amazing. But once we are on their website, because their tech help extends just even beyond just troubleshooting, the first thing I'll point out is just because the search bar happens to show right here. If you guys search QR code, if you ever wanted to create a QR code for kind of like what Kyrie was saying, like a shirt, or if you wanted to create a QR code for your flyers, your marketing pieces, anything like that, Scott Leroy, again, it's a very simple form you'll fill out. They will create a free QR code for you, and they usually get it back to you within the hour that you've submitted the request. So they're very good about getting that information back to you, and that way it's one less thing that you guys have to worry about figuring out for yourselves right away. They're going to be a resource for you to use anytime, and they're leverage for your business, which is great.
That is different QR code than what they already created with our signature when we first started. You know how you go in KW and you have the QR code there with all your business. They create a different one.
So it's anything you want the QR code to lead to. So if you had like a feedback form from an open house that you created in Google and you wanted to have people scan it, or maybe contact information because you were doing a raffle or something like that, you could copy the link to your Google form, and then you could send it through that form with Scott Leroy Marketing, and they'll create a QR code just for that particular. Okay. Awesome. Sweet. Yay. Well, that's awesome. So yes, this is just kind of like a supplement to that. So if you wanted to have you're trying to gather, if I wanted your contact information, I had a Google form set up, I could have you guys scan a QR code that I made with Scott Leroy Marketing, and it would take you guys directly to my contact information, not for your business, but just so I could collect your information. Yes, exactly, exactly. So anything that you guys think that that would be useful for, you're welcome to use. But again, because this is your own business, it's not required if it does not make sense for you. Nope, it is free. It's all free. So this will be free for each individual QR code, and your access to Scott Leroy in general is taken care of, is part of your office dues. So it's not anything extra that you're not already aware of, which is great. Yeah, right, exactly. And that's why I'm like, I will tell you about all the good stuff that's free. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it says retention. They do birthdays, anniversaries, agent, campus, birthdays. So the birthdays meaning birthday mailings for us.
So you could, yes, if you wanted to go through Scott Leroy Marketing, that may be some additional cost associated with that, because that would probably be a concierge service, but you can of course inquire about that with them. But that may be a package that they offer for you, where they will take care of all of that for your database for you. So anybody that you've uploaded into your command contacts, they'll be able to do all those touches on your behalf. Yes, you could do the same thing with Leah and Jules, but they started with Scott Leroy Marketing. So yes, they've got a very, very affluent background with them, which is great. In addition to the QR code generator and all the other things that they offer, one thing I will share with you guys is under agent resources here, it does make you type in your market center number, which is 350. And then once you get past that screen, this will now be a drop-down menu. So still agent resources, but now we are going to actually go over to, it's going to be the training. And then you'll see here to the right, it says training calendar. So if you guys go to the training calendar, this will show you any live Zoom classes that Scott Leroy Marketing will hold in regards to your KW technology. So I know that sometimes Tuesday afternoons may not work if we got to pick up kiddos, if we've just got to run home one day, and that means that you ended up having to miss Jules and Leah or anything like that. Again, this is just a supplement to the education you guys can receive in the training from KW. So if you guys are interested, you want to really understand DocuSign at a high level, but maybe Jules and Leah don't have that slated on their schedule for another 2 weeks, but I know I'm meeting with someone in a week and I just really want to make sure I know how to use DocuSign. You'll see on their calendar that they offer a DocuSign class next Friday. And if you just click on it, it will give you the Zoom link. So you'll click right on that as soon as the class begins, but it's Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And again, it's going to be a live Zoom training for the KW technology, just different elements of it.
I'm sorry, I couldn't follow. I was looking at something else. How did you get there?
So when you go to agent resources, it's going to start as just a button. It's at the top of the page. So we're on Scott Leroy Marketing's website. So you're going to go to the new agent button on Keller Williams. And then you're going to go from the new agent button under the right hand side here, you're going to hit basic training. And then now it's going to be an agent resources button. You'll type the market center number 350. And that's why, like, it's again, like, orientation's kind of nice because there's a lot of stuff that you guys are not immediately exposed to that I just want to make sure you know is available to you. I love it. I love it. It's my favorite. Oh, absolutely. So now you've typed in the market center number. Yep. So now the agent resources at the top should be a drop down menu for you. There should be a little arrow pointing down next to it. You'll go to training and then training calendar. Yep. And then that'll take you right here where you guys can see every particular topic that they'll be going over. But again, I know sometimes Tuesday afternoons just don't work for everybody. Maybe a Wednesday afternoon's better. I see that a lot, especially with our dual career agents. So this is something I do like to share in case it is beneficial to you and your business. Because we know also that everyone's going to be dealing with different things at different times, trying to learn ahead for certain scenarios that some others may not be quite thinking about just yet. So it's a really great tool for you. And then lastly, on the Scott Leroy Marketing webpage, under the under store, you just click on the store option. This will take you to theagentstore.com, where you guys can actually order business cards and name tags through. So I know that's a very, very common question I get, especially when you guys are first getting started. So this is an opportunity for you guys to order those. It's very simple. It'll ask you just to select your market center. So again, the number is 350, and you'll see Ballantyne will come up. But it'll automatically populate some of our information in there for you. It will populate your own, and then it will put it onto a quick and easy template for you. And you have your choice of several different templates, both with name tags and business cards. And again, just through the partnership that we have, you can get a great deal. I know 500 business cards for me only cost $39. So see, I mean, okay, now you have to. Yeah, see, now you have to. So yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So they have tons of amazing stuff on here. Again, by no means are you required to use the agent store over Canva or something more similar to that, where you can do something unique to yourself. But if this is something you're like, hey, one less thing for me to think about, I just want a quick and easy template so I can get the business cards already, that's an opportunity for you guys. And then the other thing I'd like to mention about that as well is if you are provisional broker status, it's important that you make sure you double check with Tasha that your business card design has everything it legally needs to have on it, and it also is not showing anything it legally cannot have on it. Tasha will give you the thumbs up, and you guys can go ahead and order the cards. And she's our BIC associate. She's in the office very commonly, so it's easy to just stop by her office and show her the picture and say, does this look good to you? And she'll give you the thumbs up. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So typically, no, it's okay. So typically speaking, like I would say that that's going to be the most in compliance thing that you would find through Agent Store versus, again, Canva, you're building it from the bottom up. So that is probably going to be okay. I would still just run it by her though, because technically it is in the advertising guidelines that provisional brokers need to be getting approval on things like that. But I'm sure it's going to be, no, it's okay. Nobody's going to get mad, and I'm sure it's going to be just fine. But just for future, that with a couple other marketing pieces as well, until you guys kind of get like an overview of what you're looking at, what needs to be on there. Once you have a pretty thorough understanding, Tasha may just say like, look, I know you got it. Don't worry about it. So you're not technically required to get approval at that point. So you don't need to worry about that. There are still advertising guidelines you may want to reference, but you don't necessarily need to get approval at that point. And I know that's just a process. So this is everything I usually share with you guys on the agent store, and that's through Scott Leroy Marketing again. I'll go ahead and close out, and we'll come back to KWB Resources. Know obviously that we did not go into everything on that website, but obviously there is a ton of great information buried in there. So you are welcome to sift through that at your leisure. Anytime, especially that you guys are looking to make sense of your technology, especially because like I always say that is going to be the biggest hurdle for anybody, is going to be the technology, and not because it's not user friendly or not because it's unusually difficult, but no matter if you have real estate experience or not, if you came from a different brokerage, our KW technology is specific to our firm. So it's nothing you'd ever have been exposed to before. So that sometimes is the biggest hurdle for a lot of people. And that is why we make sure that there's a lot of opportunity to get training on it. If you scroll a little bit lower here under the new agent page, this top Facebook page here, I believe both of us are members of already. And this is going to be an internal Facebook page with just our agents and the leadership team. So this Facebook page, it's an opportunity for you guys to communicate with the agents in this office, especially those who may not necessarily be physically present in the office, because that's kind of the beauty of social media, is it helps to get you guys in touch with people not physically in front of you. And then in addition to that, I am also on there. We're updating you about different things. Sometimes Sabra or Tasha will come on there just to give you an update about a form or maybe a deadline for something. I'll be in there constantly telling you guys about the upcoming trainings and events we've got going on, make it very easy for you guys to register. We also take the time to welcome our agents on there, congratulate our agents. So it's a very fun space to be part of, and definitely one I would recommend because it helps to keep you guys in the know about everything that's going on in our office. And then the page just below that, very similar in concept, is actually going to be, again, a private Facebook group. But this one is going to be our agents, our leadership team, and our vendor partners. So part of KW Ballantyne, we do have a vendor program here, and all of the vendors that are part of that program have been vetted by other Keller Williams Ballantyne agents. So you can trust that it's a good vendor that you can rely on with their services and their products. So if you would like to get connected with them very easily, our vendors are a part of that Facebook page. So it's very easy for you guys to go on there and get updates from the vendors directly through Facebook. A lot of times they'll be sharing promotions that they're running. They'll be sharing if they are offering any new services entirely, and just kind of helping to keep you guys aware of what they're doing on their end. And so it's very easy for you guys to get connected with someone you can trust, especially if maybe you don't know a plumber right now. Based off of your own experiences, but you know that there's a great plumber on the Facebook page, go ahead and reach out, because they're always looking, again, just to help be mutually beneficial. So you're welcome to reach out to any of those vendors. In addition, because it is Facebook, there is a little search tool magnifying glass button in the right-hand corner towards the top of the page. It allows you to search. You could search something like electrician, and any electricians that are in our program on that page should populate right away. So that'll be a great tool for you guys. I think in addition, a little bit lower here, this is going to be our Kellerisms form. Our Kellerisms form is going to open into another PDF tab here. I will not click on that today, but Kellerisms is really just breaking down the language at Keller Williams that you'll hear. The reason that we do that is because part of our amazing culture in this office and across all KWs is that we do have kind of our own community. We have our own language as a part of that. So if you're hearing some terminology that you're a little less familiar with, like a 145, or maybe you're hearing the term capper and you're just not quite sure what that means, by clicking on that document there, it'll break down a lot of those terms, and it'll give you some actual real world comparisons and give you a definition. So if you're ever feeling shy, although you don't need to, that's a really great way for you guys to get a lot of that insight, so you can feel comfortable in those conversations moving forward without having to necessarily tell anybody that you needed an extra set of hands. So that's a great one for you. Again, we just want to make sure you guys are feeling very comfortable and confident, and definitely feeling the power of our culture here. So if at any point you have questions about what you're hearing, that is a great reference guide. A little bit lower, we do have access to answers.kw.com. This is going to be another tool for you guys with your KW technology. Command, as you already know, is our CRM here at Keller Williams Ballantyne and across KWs. So as you guys are experiencing and maybe any difficulty with anything, or just want to understand at a higher level how to do something, maybe it's a smart plan, and maybe Jules and Lee are booked out for like another week or two, probably not two, but another week, and like, hey, I just can't get a hold of them just yet. I would love to know, if there's a way for me to learn ahead on this, but Scott Lowy Marketing is not doing anything either. Answers.kw.com is a search engine. Basically, it allows you to identify the particular platform within KW technology that you're trying to look at. And if you click on that particular platform, you'll see command right there. You guys can search keywords related to what you're doing or what you're experiencing, and then articles upon articles will populate for you to reference, and it allows you to read through how to solve the problem or how to do something at a higher level. And it also will include pictures directly from your screens. So it makes it very, very easy to follow along with, because you'll have a visual as well. So I know everyone's got a different learning style in terms of what works best and what's most digestible to them. So if you feel like maybe the visual, I like to read through things, is more applicable to you and your learning style, absolutely utilize that resource, because it's here for you. And then similar to answers.kw.com, there's also a website called ideas.kw.com, and ideas.kw.com is a sister website that is actually dedicated to just your feedback. So if you guys have suggestions about, I loved this feature in Command, I'd love to see it available on this next screen too. Or maybe, hey, I love that you guys, I saw the update. I think actually though, if you tweaked it a little bit, that would be really beneficial. They want to make sure that Command's a very seamless and user-friendly platform. So if at any point in time you're experiencing some difficulties with something and you think that, hey, if we just tweaked it just a little bit, this would be very, very easy to manipulate, they're happy to hear that from you. They want to know so that they can make sure they're giving you the best product available. So feel free to suggest anything through ideas.kw.com. They are checking that and then constantly releasing updates to the platform. And it does not matter that I'm a brand new agent, you know, what could I offer? They want to make sure that it's going to be the most user-friendly platform from the start of your onboarding. So they actually probably want to hear from you guys, honestly, the most, to make sure that it's easy to understand. So keep that in mind if you guys ever do have suggestions to provide. The next thing that I'll talk about here is going to be the training calendar. I try to show you guys the most convenient way to access information on the page because I know sometimes it's a lot of scrolling and I don't like giving you some complicated ways to get to things. So I'm going to pause on the training calendar and I'll show you the fastest way to get to that in just a moment. But at the bottom here, how to book a conference room, it's available on this page, but it's also available under the helpful links under the schedule conference room option. So when you're booking conference rooms, for those of you who don't know, we do have 6 different conference rooms here on this floor. They each vary in capacity. Some of them are 4-person conference rooms up to a 10-person conference room in the Susan George room. So if at any point in time you guys are looking to utilize one of those conference rooms, you're more than welcome to do so. Again, a free resource for you to utilize. And it's very simple. You would hit the register button here, and this would allow you guys to go ahead and create a quick login at skeda.com. And then once you've created the login, you should be able to go right in and start looking at the conference room bookings. Across the x-axis at the top of the page, it would specify the conference room name as well as its capacity. And down the y-axis, you'll have all the times available throughout the day. And you'll see everyone who's dragged and dropped slots. So you can easily find a good spot for you to use and what room that would be in very, very seamlessly. And if you ever experience difficulty doing this, I am an admin on that page, so I can always go in on the back end for you and make corrections. So keep me posted if you have any issues with the conference rooms. But the big thing with the conference rooms, just to reiterate, these are resources, again, kind of finite. We have 6 of them, and they are constantly on rotation amongst our 500 agents. Although, again, you don't always see 500 in the office at once. So we do want to make sure that these resources are constantly available for anybody who needs them. And so what that means is that a lot of times we would encourage you, rather than using them for independent and private work just to stay focused, try to use these for more collaborative efforts like coaching conversations, any client consultations, things of that nature. We find that that's the best use of those rooms, and it does allow a lot of freedom with them so they can be available to someone moving forward in the day. You're obviously welcome, you know, if you've got a phone call that just came through and it's a private conversation, you just need somewhere to step over for a minute. You can see a vacant conference room. You're more than welcome to step in for 5 minutes to take that phone call. But obviously, if someone knocks at the door saying they have the room, I would go ahead and say, I'm sorry, and step out. But you're welcome to pop in there if you ever need the room briefly. If you are looking for a more independent workspace, just to kind of keep your head in the game and stay focused. I know me, I socialize a lot, so sometimes I need that. There are, if you continue down this hallway and take a right, there are some cubicles in the back corner here. They'll even have a sign in the inside of the cubicle. It calls them day desks. And those day desks are intended for you guys to utilize. You don't need to rent them, but use just a couple hours at a time. Go ahead and sit down if you're trying to lead gen and I just want to be able to plug and chug. I don't want any distractions. I want to get that done in my 2-hour time block. That's a really great opportunity for you guys to do that. Obviously, the hub, you're welcome to sit in as well. The training room, anytime it's available. You guys are always welcome to use those as well. But I know sometimes a nice, small, private space is exactly what people are looking for. So the day desks do exist as well. So I'm going to take us back to our home page. So that was just under our new agent button, but we will scroll through. I promise we don't go like super in depth to every single thing. So it will kind of roll through for us. So here you will have a leadership directory that shows you everyone who's on our leadership team, what their role is here in the office, as well as their email addresses. So if you ever were trying to figure out who to talk to about a specific issue or maybe a specific question you may have, you guys are able to then see who is responsible for that, as well as their contact information. And I'll take you a little bit further. We do have a can't miss video of the week, which I always joke about because this has actually been here for months. And the reason for that is because it's been such a great video for people to watch, because Leah actually put this together herself, and it goes over an ultimate overview of Command and DocuSign and how the two communicate with each other. And it's only 25 minutes long. So we found that that was such a beneficial video for people, especially getting first started here, because the KW technology can be a little bit daunting at first. So that video has stayed up there. So that way you guys can also access that at any point that it makes sense to you. And it's easy to come back to as well. So feel free, again, if that's something that sounds beneficial to you, please do take advantage of it. I think the biggest thing to mention is that, of course, you guys are entrepreneurs and you are starting your own businesses. We are so, so excited to help support you through that process and help assist you where we can. But of course, the biggest thing with that is that it's up to you what you guys want to do and what you feel would be the best for you and your business. So if that means, maybe skipping a T group 1 week just because I really, really, really want to go to this one special training, that's absolutely all right. Maybe send your T group partner a text just to let them know. But you're absolutely welcome to juggle those two and figure out what makes the most sense for you. There's never a wrong answer as long as you think it's going to help propel you forward. So when we continue to scroll down our homepage here, you will eventually arrive at our office training calendar. The easiest way to pull directly to that, so it's a little less work for you, is to click on the office calendar tab at the top. It'll do all the work for you and get you right where you want to be. So that's going to be right here. But when you're looking at our office training calendar, you can see that you have an overview of the entire month. You can even actually fast forward to additional months to get an idea of what will be taking place in future weeks. But as you're looking at everything, you'll notice some things look like they may get chopped off. So if you were to click on any of them, you'll be able to get a little bit more information. There should be an attached flyer for several of the events. Registration information, if it is required, is also going to be posted. And if you notice that it looks like this has +3 here, so if you click the +3, this will break down a little bit more so you can see everything we've got coming up. So again, this is a great way for you guys just to stay aware of everything that's going on in our office, be part of anything that you think is beneficial to you, but really to help you guys to be plugged into anything helpful, right? So it should come up. So you may need to refresh the page. It's technically it's linked to my Google Calendar. So sometimes it takes a second to show, but it usually is pretty seamless. So sometimes it comes up blank, but it should be fixed here shortly, I promise. If you need to refresh though, sometimes that is helpful. But the biggest thing is that I work very, very closely with our training calendar. So if at any point you guys have any questions about what you're looking at on that calendar, you can of course keep me in mind. Feel free to shoot me an email and ask a question. I'm happy to be of assistance with that because I want to make sure you guys get to take the utmost advantage of all the wonderful things that our office offers. Perfect. I was gonna say, I was like, wait, I really think it should come up. I was like, I'm gonna feel really bad if it doesn't though. So a little bit underneath that calendar, it does highlight some of our recurring meetings here. You'll see that our ALC meetings they're once a month. They're on the 3rd Tuesday at 11 o'clock. We've got our team meetings, which are the 2nd and 4th Tuesday at 11 o'clock. We've also got Tech Tuesdays, which are every Tuesday in the afternoons from 1 to 2:30. And it gives you a little bit more information about all 3 of those. Our ALC meetings are wonderful. Our agent leadership council all gets together and they help to make decisions on behalf of Valentine. The biggest thing I think with that is actually that we do refer to our ALC so that we can have agent representatives here to speak on behalf of the agent population in our office. We don't like making any decisions without consulting you guys. That's very true to the core of Keller Williams. We want to make sure that your voices are heard and that we're doing the best thing we can for you as well. So feel free if you'd ever like to be part of those. I know it is part of the graduation checklist as one of the items there. This is a phenomenal thing to be part of because you will hear some amazing conversations and you'll be able to see, Valentine from a different light as well. The only thing that we request is that if you choose to participate in an ALC meeting, allow the ALC to hold the floor and you'll be more of an observer for the entire hour, but you will hear some amazing conversations. Our team meetings are Tuesday parties. There are a lot of fun energy in the room. They're 11 to 12 twice a month, and we go over anything between welcoming and congratulating our agents to market updates to information from our lenders. There's so much great information packed into just 1 hour. And there's such great energy in the room as well. Typically, we have this more classroom style, which I believe both of you've seen before, and it's just full. You know, a lot of times it's standing room only, which is amazing. The other great benefit to attending team meetings is it allows you an opportunity to connect with our vendor partners. We do invite our vendor partners to participate in a vendor fair outside here. Between our 6 tables, we allow our vendors to come in here. They sign up for those slots. So it's an opportunity for you guys to step right outside the door at the end of team meeting or before and really get to know each of those vendor partners, what they do and how they can assist you and your clients moving forward. So it's a great opportunity. A lot of times they also bring goodies, I'm just saying. So if you ever want a treat, there's usually something yummy out there as well. Jeff Janant with State Farm is very good. He brings pizza almost every Tuesday. And then just a little bit lower here, you will see our wonderful broker in charge, Miss Sabra Romeo, and you will also see Tasha Viney. So both of these women are truly incredible. They are very, very knowledgeable and very, very thoughtful, helpful, patient, kind, all the things. They are here to help you guys succeed just as much as we are. So please keep them in mind, especially as you have questions start to flourish, especially if they are transaction-based. I actually usually encourage you guys to go to your T group partner for that. And we'll get into that in just a moment here. But Sabra is obviously overseeing our 500 agents. If there is ever anything legal, go straight to her. She is happy to assist you. This is something to keep in mind as you guys get into production because she's going to be here to help. Unfortunately, Sabra's not in the office very often. She does actually take care of her 100-year-old mother. So she is not always in the office with us, but she is always available by phone or email if you need her. The biggest thing is because Sabra's not always here, we do have Tasha here as well. She is our right-hand man to Sabra, and she is here 3 days a week. You'll see her office hours are posted there, and her office is actually just outside this door to the right here in the hub area. Anytime she's in the office and available, her door is wide open, so you're welcome to stop by with questions. They are happy to help you guys however they can. So please keep that in mind. Their contact information is here as well. If you guys ever do need phone numbers, I'll show you how to look that up in the white pages, but feel free to email me. And then additionally, as we get closer to June, because I know right now we're in the perfect time of year where this is not a thought yet. But as we get closer to June, when it comes to renewing your license, there's some charts here that you guys can click on. It just helps you to kind of understand what the requirements are in order to keep your license active, as well as making sure that you're in the particular situation of being in the green, you're good to go, or checking to make sure that you don't have additional hours that you're responsible for. So it's a really great way for you guys to make sure you've got all your bases covered, a little less stress that time of year is key for sure. Then we have this is, as I mentioned, our ALC, so our wonderful Agent Leadership Council here at KWB. These are each of the individuals currently serving on the ALC. It shares what their particular committees are, so it kind of gives you an idea of where their interests are and what they're more responsible for overseeing. So each of these individuals will meet every month. They usually do it at the start of the month. They'll meet with their committee so that you guys are welcome to attend those, have those conversations, find out what they're discussing. If it's growth committee, they're focusing on profit share and passive income. If it's social and KW Cares, they're talking about all the fun we have here, helping to plan socials and events, fundraisers. So depending on what your interests are, what your interest level is, feel free to step in. You guys are welcome to assist on a regular basis with these committees. You guys are also welcome to just come in just to hear the conversations they're having, maybe even provide some feedback. I know career development focuses a lot on the trainings that are brought into our office. So they're always looking to hear from you guys in terms of what you would love to see on the calendar. So if there's something that you feel you haven't seen on the calendar in a little bit, I know we do financial series twice a year. So if there's ever a time that you're like, man, I love the content, I really want to, could we have somebody come in and talk about real estate investments? We're happy to take that feedback, and we would love to make sure that we're getting something on the calendar that speaks to that for you. So keep that in mind as you guys are getting comfortable. Each of these individuals are always happy to help. We are going to be transitioning to our 2024 ALC here very shortly. So you'll see some new faces, but they will also, again, be very approachable and here to take feedback and also any participation that you'd like to offer. little bit lower. Now we're kind of looking at our 3 pillars of mentorship. So here at KWB, we do not have one direct mentor for you guys that will be with you every single step of the way. Instead, what we offer is 3 pillars of mentorship. The first is going to be your productivity coach, which I know both of you are at least somewhat familiar with now. Our productivity coaches are going to be the individuals here to help us really hold us accountable. They're going to meet every week with their entire group, depending on every single one of them does it, but obviously each of you will have your own particular coach. But they will meet every single week with their groups, going over different content, whether that is kind of taking feedback from you guys about what you're experiencing and how they can help talk to that, or if that's bringing in particular scripts saying, hey, we're going to sit down, we're going to role play, we're going to go through these scripts together. So there's going to be some opportunity there where they're really going to go over a lot of the different strategies, the conversations, the skill set. They're going to really help to hone a lot of that in you guys and share from their personal experiences, which I think is very beneficial. So they're here to help you guys to set up that business correctly. So feel free to, you're going to participate in those group coaching sessions. They also will offer one-on-ones with you guys as well, so they can get to know you, your particular goals, and really help to hold you accountable to those goals as well. They want to make sure that you're achieving, that you're happy with where you're at. If anything changes, they want to be aware so they can help you strive towards that goal as well. If we're noticing a lead gen strategy is not working, they'll help you tailor your attentions to something else that may work for you. So they're going to be really, really great kind of friends and confidants in those first year that you guys are here, especially. And then in addition to that, we also have T group partners. You'll know some faces that are the same here. So our T group partners are going to be our second pillar of mentorship. Our T group partners are our transaction group partners, focused entirely on the transactional piece. They're going to be going over at length the contracts and the forms that you will be handling as part of being a real estate agent. They want to make sure that not only do you know how to fill those out, but you understand their content, their importance, and you can convey the same to your clients. So I know Richard is very, very diligent. Thank you for mentioning Richard. I know that he's very diligent. He will send an email saying, hey, these are the forms we're going to cover next week. Print them off, take a look. We're going to then go over them next week together, bring questions. We'll make sure that you know how to understand and fill those out. So your T group partner is intended to be someone, again, that you guys can reach out to when you've got questions. But of course, they want to see you guys regularly, because I think, and this is a personal opinion from my experiences, I hate being frantic. I hate that feeling. I don't like being in the moment, caught up, and not knowing what to do. So the best thing about your T group partners is they're going to go over a 12-week curriculum, really help to break that down into small and reasonable portions so it's not as overwhelming. They'll even help you to fill out template versions of this so that you can reference them in your notes. But that way you guys can learn everything you need to ahead of that first transaction. And then as you have specific questions, maybe this transaction is a little bit different, you can reach out to that T group partner, but hopefully just by attending their meetings, you guys feel very, very confident even going into that first transaction. So they're going to be phenomenal resources. They're free to you guys. I suggest you to utilize them as often as you can. And if there's ever a time that you're feeling like, hey, I really feel like I need to brush up on, the listing portion of this, I think I might have an upcoming listing, go ahead and attend all the listing sessions that they're offering. They'll give you the kind of their schedule. So just make sure that you guys are on top of everything that you can be, because they're here to help you and they want to see you succeed. So as much as you can participate, the better. And down here at the bottom, we have our wonderful first step partners. So our first step partners make up our third and final pillar of mentorship. These individuals do not physically meet in the office unless you guys arrange for that to be true. I would say if Carla is your first step partner, you'll probably have to do a Zoom call. She's currently based in Ohio. So keep that in mind. But your first step partners are really here just to reach out to you. They're going to touch base with you in the beginning, make sure you're feeling comfortable. They're going to share their contact information with you more than anything, so that if at any point you guys do have questions, you can of course call your first step partner, have those conversations. I really consider them to be our Valentine expert. So if you guys are wondering, I do forget where the mailroom is, or I know Liz said that my parking pass was going to come in, but do you remember how that's going to happen, where I should be looking for it? or maybe just general questions. Again, if they're transaction based, go to your T group partner. If they're more skill set lead gen based, I would suggest going to your coach. That's what you have them for. But if they're just generalized questions, where do you know where Tasha's office is? Or would you be able to help me find the parking permit link? They're happy to kind of walk you through that, guys. So keep in mind that they will be reaching out. Carrie's very good. She'll reach out to you guys every couple of weeks just to check in, make sure you're doing well. Feel free to return her call. You guys can just build a friendship if nothing else, but she's very, very helpful, making sure that you guys are taken care of. They'll also all be emailing you the 30, 60, 90 ramp up checklist. As of right now, that ramp up is not necessarily being graded at every single portion. We're not making sure you did every single thing on there, but what I consider it to be is more of a reference guide. So if at any point you're feeling confused or lost, maybe now that Ignite's over, I'm really not sure what I want to work on next, what would be the most helpful, that 30, 60, 90 reference guide will be great for you guys to look at because it'll give you an idea of something you guys can be doing every single day for the next 90 days. So keep that in mind. It's here to help you guys, again, in the event that you ever feel you need a little extra guidance. And lastly, you'll come across here, we've got some helpful resources and some frequently used websites, but there's an easier access point up top here. We do have frequently asked questions. This tab is very quick to go over. So generalized questions are posted here so that you guys have an idea of who you can reach out to about a particular question based around these tiles. So all you have to do is if you do have a question about a commission request, if you just hover your mouse, it'll say Lynn Davis is the best person to reach out to, and it shows you her email address right there. So again, it just kind of gives you an idea of what each of our roles are related to here on the leadership team. So if you guys have questions, you know who to direct them to. But above all else, guys, if you do not know who to reach out to, you're absolutely welcome to reach out to me instead, and I will help to direct that information to the person who can assist you. So it's the FAQ tab at the very top of the page. Up top here. Yep. I know it's a little hard to see the mouse sometimes. Sorry about that. But yes, FAQs at the top. The next tab here that we're gonna jump over the About tab. The next tab we're gonna do is the On-Demand Training tab. So I'm gonna click on that one here. The On-Demand Training tab is going to be password protected. So I'm gonna read out the password to you because for the first time in a long time, it's not behind me. It's a capital B as in boy, lowercase a, M, C, 350. If you've seen or familiar with our Wi-Fi password, it is so similar. It's just one digit different. So once you guys are you've accessed the on-demand training tab, and I'll reiterate that password in a minute here. On the left-hand side of the on-demand training tab, this is actually going to take you to our Keller Williams Ballantyne YouTube channel. So ladies, if you guys ever miss a core training, and again, this is not every single training because a lot of them we do obviously want you guys to participate live as often as possible. But however, if you missed a team meeting, for example, and you wanted to know how that went, what you missed, we do have a YouTube channel here that is built up of those recordings. We also have recordings of Tech Tuesday classes. We have recordings of KWB Orientation, Tech Orientation, anything under that kind of umbrella. So if you guys are looking for a prior class that you may have missed due to a conflict or an emergency, you're welcome to check this out. I know also, again, I know neither of you are in that position, but dual career find this very, very beneficial because it allows them to learn and experience all the same stuff, but on a time that works best for them. So this is something I would absolutely love for you to keep in mind, especially if you ever miss a Tech Tuesday and you're like, shoot, I really want to know how they did their social media. You guys can easily get that information. If you're ever noticing that there is a recording not shared to this page, please let me know, because in that event, it's more than likely that the either the recording did not come back through clearly from Zoom, or YouTube just didn't like it and it thought I was violating a policy, which does happen, unfortunately. So in that event, I usually still have the recording access myself, and I'm happy to share it with you guys. It just won't be published to this page. So keep me in mind anytime that happens. And I'm going to close out of, yeah. Was it on that page? Oh, yes, for Will. Yes. Oh, yes. That capped out at 100, which is something that I had not seen before. I know that I believe it. Yes. So I would actually recommend you guys could ask Michelle Amador about that because she's involved with MAPS coaching. So she would have more access to that content and she might be able to share it with you. I also know that Asia McLean, she's another agent, young agent that's in here almost every single day. Asia, I know participated in the call. She was able to get into it and she took notes throughout it. So if at any point you guys would like to reach out to her, she'll probably have ample notes she's happy to share. But definitely talk to Michelle. She may be able to access that recording for you and share it with you.
Well, I got on it, but then once they said it was recording, I didn't make any notes because I was like, okay, well, we can all this withdraw back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm quite sure that they will be releasing it if they've not already done so. It just may not, if it's going through MAPS, it may go trickle just to the MAPS individuals and not necessarily to individual market centers, if that makes sense.
Saying one of the things is what I told. This whole claim to fame is golden letters.
Mhm.
Send out golden letters.
Mhm.
He said he would share them.
Mhm.
But did he ever email any of those to anybody, or is it Michelle? That's what.
I would talk to Michelle about it because Michelle Anderson, I believe, is the one who interviewed him. And Michelle Anderson and Michelle Amador have a relationship. So she could probably reach out to Michelle Anderson about that and get that information over to you. And if nothing else, he may have just shared his contact information on that call so that you guys can actually reach out to him. So hopefully between Michelle Amador and Michelle Anderson, we can get all that information for you guys. Of course. And on the right-hand side here, very similar again, it's a YouTube channel, but command on demand. If you click that button, this is actually going to take you to Scott Leroy Marketing's YouTube channel. So again, maybe the 1 to 2 p.m. time slot is not convenient. I've actually got an open house on Friday. I can't do it then, or I'm going to a broker open. I don't want to miss this content. Scott Leroy Marketing also publishes their information here to a YouTube channel. So you guys can see there's some quick tips videos that are about 10 minutes or shorter most of the time. You guys can also see as you scroll, they do have full-length classes that they've published as well on here. So now, again, just another tool for you guys to utilize in the event that you want additional support with your technology so that you guys can have a thorough understanding of it and at an hour that works best for you. Because again, I know that sometimes there are conflicting events and oh my gosh, what do I choose? Do I want to do this or this? If you want to do option A, if option B was Scott Leroy Marketing YouTube or Scott Leroy Marketing class, a lot of times you can come back and reference the same information later. So keep that in mind. There's always a solution, guys, and we will make sure that you get as much information as you can whenever it makes sense for you. Close out there. And at the bottom is just a little bit of information about Ignite, but it's not like you guys don't know plenty about that at this point. On the next tab, Office Resources, before I click on that, I am just going to hover over it. So the first 2 things you're going to see here is those advertising guidelines I was referencing, making sure that all of your marketing is in compliance as a general rule of thumb, whether that's my open house signs, whether that is my print material that I'm passing around at door knocking, or if that's my business card. This is a reference guide for you guys. So please keep that in mind. It will go over a lot of great information with you. And then the next thing just below there, I'm sure you also are familiar with the do not call list. I know cold calling is a very common lead generation tactic and it can be a very great one, but you want to make sure you're not calling anyone on that list because there's a risk that you may be subject to fine for that. So please follow the step-by-step instructions under the do not call list at your convenience. It will explain everything you need to do to get set up with the do not call list so you have access to those names so you can make sure you do not ever fall into that category. And then now that we have gone over those 2 items, I'll click right into the Office Resources tab. Again, that's going to be password protected. So I'm going to read it out one more time just to make sure you both have it. So you let me know when you are ready because I see both of you are kind of doing a couple things, which I love because I know you're following along, which is amazing. But I also don't want to say this and have one of you need it and then me totally mess it up for you. Do either of you still need the password? No? Oh, guys, you're like you're like gold star students. This is great. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to type it in then since you already know it. So once you're in the Office Resources tab, both of us are North Carolina licensed. I do know that much. So on the left-hand side here under General Forms, if you were to select the Get Forms option, this is going to take you guys over to a Google Drive folder that Sabra created, and it's going to share with you guys a lot of our Keller Williams Valentine specific forms. So the biggest thing to note is this is not every single form you'll be responsible for. This is not your state contracts and forms. This is more specific to our firm. It's more about our referral agreements, addendums. This is septic and sewer. This is our W-9 if you guys are doing a referral. This is going to be our disclosures of our partnerships with title companies. So this is going to be more specific to our firm. So I know that a lot of times that may not populate in your DocuSign room. So in the event that it's not populating for you and you're like, shoot, where is that septic and sewer? It's more than likely going to be right here in this Google Drive. So between the two, you guys should have access to everything that you need to. But if you guys start here, for example, and you're like, well, where's my, offer to purchase? If that's not in here, you guys can probably find it directly in your DocuSign. So I think apples and oranges, put them together, guys, and then you'll have everything you need.
So it is a PDF form, so
Mhm.
if it's not, in our DocuSign,
Mhm.
right? We download it and then from our download, we forward it.
You can upload it. Yep. You can upload it into DocuSign or you can forward it over via email. However you guys are communicating, DocuSign is probably the easiest way. But yes, you can take down the option or take down the form and then you can go ahead and send it over to them to get them to sign. So yes, ma'am.
There's a link to upload it.
So you'll download it by clicking on it and then you'll upload it into your DocuSign. Yep. And then so in the middle here, so that was our general form. So to point out, like I said earlier, you guys are North Carolina licensed. So your North Carolina forms exist on the left-hand side there. If you guys do go on to get that South Carolina license, yay! The South Carolina equivalent of those forms is on the right-hand side. So keep that in mind if you guys are looking, remember what state you're in for what transaction. Oh my God. They're literally could not be more different. They are completely backwards. It's super confusing and I love it. It's great. I don't know why South Carolina likes to be so different. Like, calm down. It's fine. You can just do this the normal way. I promise. Oh yeah. No, they like to do it completely backwards. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But here we are. So I guess I just had to make sure that they really seem different from North Carolina. Like, we're too close. So we got to make sure we're very worlds apart. And then in the middle here is office checklist. So if you click this get checklist button here, this is going to go over something very important. Again, Sabra built these herself. So these are designed by Sabra. She's amazing. And your T Group partners may very well be referencing some of these checklists. You are welcome to print these off at any point in time, guys. You're welcome to reference them digitally, but these walk you through step by step what you are responsible for in a given transaction, depending on the state, depending on the side, depending on the specific actual transaction itself. If it's a rental versus a listing versus a buyer, it's going to break down all of that information for you. It gives you an idea of what you're expected to be responsible for, a timetable roughly for that information as well. So please keep that in mind. It's really going to help highlight a lot of that because I know those first few transactions, they are not muscle memory yet, and that's okay. We want you to have the utmost confidence going in though, knowing that you've covered everything you needed to, that you're not missing a single detail. I know I was actually just talking to Richard yesterday, and Richard said that that's something that he tries to keep in the inside of his folder every single time. And he said, even though I've done this 100 times, he said, sometimes you get those transactions that are just going to drive you crazy or something's going to happen and you just feel like maybe you missed something along the way. But he said that this is just a great reference guide to immediately look at and go, nope, I'm good. Or, oh, that's exactly what I missed. Let me make sure I send that to him. So this is as again a resource for you guys to use as often as you need it, as often as you like it. I know sometimes that's all people need to have that extra boost of confidence, and sometimes people are like, I feel pretty good. I don't necessarily need to reference that with all the time. So whatever that looks like for you and your business, it is a tool here to help you guys. I know, I do too. People make fun of me. I have a to-do list like that I literally check off every single day because I'm like, if I don't do that, I'm gonna forget something for sure. So yes, please use the checklist, guys. They are here and they have recently been updated. So they are here as a tool for you. We also have access just below there to the CE shop. So we do partner with two different real estate education resources. If you actually look at the helpful links here, and go discount codes for real estate education, this would cover both of those. It will show you our discount code with Superior and you can access it right away, or it'll show you the discount we have with CE Shop. So Superior is a long-standing 30% off, and that is for all pre, post, and CE. And there's different links for each of those, which is why I wanted to show you that drop-down menu. And then we also have a partnership with the CE Shop. Thankfully, they have one website that's very easy to use, but they actually fluctuate their discounts. Sometimes it's 30% off. I know they're doing 30% off for all of December, but they also offer, like, I know Black Friday, they did 50% off. Hey, yes. But yeah, so they offer some great deals. They do fluctuate. I will always post them, especially the days that they're active, to our Facebook page at 8 a.m. in the morning. So it's easy to take advantage of that deal. I know, I literally thought the same thing where I was like, well, shoot, if anyone misses this, I was like, it's not like you don't get a discount somewhere else, but I was like, man, I was like, that's a deal you don't want to miss. Yep, yep. So please keep that in mind. I mean, these are absolute tools for you guys. And I know, again, learning styles can be different. So CE Shop is a little more self-paced, but then you've got the Superior, which is in person or online classes. That I don't actually know, if I'm going to be completely honest. Tasha would be able to answer that. Your T group partner could probably answer that as well. Your coach may even know. Perfect. Even I know you're going to get it now. But yes, I'm not actually sure about that. I feel like so bad because I know a good bit, but then when it comes to like really specific real estate questions, I'm like, ooh, gonna have to refer to someone else. So because I am not licensed, full disclosure. So when you do arrive at the CE Shop though, thank you, Angel. We do have some phenomenal discounts being offered by the CE Shop. I do like to reference like 2 or 3 things. So the first thing is, if you are contemplating self-paced, you've never done it before, I know it can be a hit or a miss for people. So CE Shop actually offers you a free trial with self-paced learning. So you can try that South Carolina license. You can try it for 1 whole week and test it out, see if you love it. If you love it and you're like, yes, this is a hit, I'm going to do great, I feel really confident, you guys can sign up right then and there. But if you absolutely hated it and you were like, oh my gosh, I never want to see that score again in my life, you can trash it. It is not going to cause any harm to you, your score, your debit card, any of the above. You can walk away with absolutely no skin in the game, which I think is phenomenal because it's not something you see everywhere. But CE Shop also offers phenomenal resources for all states. So they actually do a lot more than just the Carolinas. I'm not sure about Superior specifically. That might be something that kind of stretches across the nation as well. Again, not my area of expertise. But if you go over, get your license or exam prep, you can see all the amazing states that CE Shop has access to. So it really is a phenomenal resource for you. And then the last particular thing I'm going to show you, I hate they moved it. It used to be right here, so it didn't look like crazy chaotic. It used to be right here. It's now at the bottom. So forgive me while I just scroll for a long time. If you go to hot topics, so it's agent essentials, and then it says hot topics in small print. You click on that, it takes you to an e-library. Oh, hold on. It did this to me one more time. Sometimes, there you go. Sometimes it just does it for a second. But when you go to hot topics, it's an e-library, guys. It is e-blogs, podcasts, videos, books. It's all this great information uploaded to one particular site. And the reason that I point this out for 2 particular purposes, one is that not only can you guys be benefiting from it, there's informative pieces posted here. There are like humorous pieces posted here. There's tons of phenomenal content, more serious about the market, more lighthearted about like DIY projects. You guys can absolutely take a nugget away from that yourselves as real estate agents. But the best part of this is, I know social media has become a very heavy marketing platform for several businesses and industries. If that is something you guys are trying to utilize for your business, I know that there's a lot of value in diversifying your content and making sure that you're constantly sharing something. I want to make sure my page is active, it's staying in front of people, something every day, something every 2 days, whatever that looks like. You guys can also just copy and paste the link from one of these articles or blogs and post it to your Facebook page. If that can be an easy, quick post for you guys, very little thought that goes into it, very little effort, but it can help to diversify your content. get you more traffic to your page, more conversations going. So it's, again, just something, if you do want to really focus in on your social media presence, that's a phenomenal thing just to help in those filler days where I'm not sure what to post. I don't have a closing coming up. I don't have a listing coming up. What do I want to share? That's something you could easily share and people will appreciate it. Close out of that. And then we do have access to our floor plan. I have not looked at this, I'll be honest. I think I've clicked on it like 3 times in orientation, but I've never referenced it on a regular basis. But our floor is a very weird shape. It's a figure 8 and then some. So if you guys have questions about it and you think a map would help you guys, click on the floor plan. It is here to help you, whatever that looks like. And at the very, very bottom here, there are some numbers to know. So Anjel, when you get your South Carolina license, because I know that's coming, you will be asked to fill out a South Carolina application for the license, because South Carolina, again, being as backwards as they are, they will not give you your license number until you fill out this application saying that you're with a firm already. Sabre will have to sign off on it, which you can just docu-sign that to her, but it's going to ask you at one point for a firm license number for South Carolina, and that number is right there. So again, it just shows you some of those numbers, maybe a little more infrequently used for your business, but numbers that you definitely will be asked on occasion. So this is normally the hub where you can find them, is at the bottom of our office resources page here. So keep that in mind. But again, if you guys are realizing either the number I'm looking for is not there, or maybe I just forgot where to access that information, feel free to reach out to me, guys. I'm happy to help. Your T Group partner may also have the answer, and if they don't, Tasha very well will. So please keep that in mind as you're getting comfortable, as you're going through the steps. This is going to be some great information to reference when you need it. And just to show you for giggles, if you click on Office Calendar, it'll just do all the work for you, which is phenomenal because sometimes I don't want to scroll all that way. And then under the tech resources, here's where I'm only going to kind of talk about a couple pieces here, just to try and save some time because we are a little bit over already. I'm sorry. So the tech resources here, if we like the style of chunking things down, I like tutorials. I want a video where someone's talking to me and I'm seeing what they're doing. If that's the best thing for your learning style, and you also like to take things one step at a time rather than an overwhelming evening full of like never-ending projects, that's great because I'm the same way. Marty Miller for Teams in that drop-down menu about midway through. It's a YouTube video. It's actually 66 separate videos. None of them are longer than 10 minutes, and it breaks it down how you can fill out and complete your KW marketing profile in easy steps. So Marty Miller for Teams, I know, again, you do not need to use this. It's purely if that is something that appeals to you and you think would benefit you. It's a little less overwhelming. That speaks to me. Go ahead and check it out. It's a phenomenal resource. I know several teams in our office love it. Anytime they have someone join their team, they have them do this. So keep it in mind if that's something that you feel like, ooh, I've been meaning to make sure that was thoroughly set up. I want to make sure I've got it all taken care of. Marty Miller for Teams can walk you guys through that in less than 10 minutes every single day for about like 4 to 8 weeks, and you guys will have it all completed. So it's a digestible way to take care of something that may seem overwhelming otherwise. You will have another access point here to answers@kw.com. So that forum where you guys can read through how to navigate commands and similar KW technology. There's the pivot shift ahead call. This will actually take you directly to the Facebook group. Pivot shift ahead, I believe Mary Webster had referenced that in her session. Phenomenal call with a gentleman named James Shaw. James Shaw is going to be very high in the education at KW, and he's based out of Florida. He's been in real estate for a very long time. He's navigated some shifting markets and complete recessions as well, very successfully. So he's dedicated a lot of his time to the pivot shift ahead. And that is basically in a shifting market, what should our strategies look like? Do we need to make changes? And if we do need to make changes, what are some successful changes that we can implement? So James Shaw gives you guys tactics and strategies that he's seen and that he's done himself. He also will highlight and spotlight different agents around the nation who are doing very similar, and they're having success in what they're doing. So I know, for example, he will showcase people who have enormous success with their golden letters. And all you have to do is in that call, people will offer to share that script for you. So it's a very easy way for kind of what Teresa was saying earlier, rip off and duplicate. It sounds terrible, but in this industry, it's something that's actually encouraged. If you see something that you love and you're like, this is phenomenal, try your best to replicate it. If you think that that's proving successful for someone, maybe you want to ask them permission, of course, but a lot of times people are happy to share that content with you because they know it works for them and they're happy to share that information with you. So there's a lot of collaboration in this office, and I think that's something to take advantage of. So keep an eye out for the things that speak to you and that you think look like that looks amazing. I love how they did that. I would love to do the same. We are happy to give you that information a lot of the time. So Pivot Shift Ahead is just another example of a way you can get that information. And then we do, under the helpful links tab, just a couple things. ALC meeting minutes, if you missed one of those big ALC meetings and you would love to know what was shared, all you have to do, guys, is click on the ALC meeting minutes. It takes you to a Google Drive folder that highlights those minutes so you guys can reference the decisions that were made and the topics of discussion. Underneath there, more a talking point for me, is the prayer request form. You're welcome to fill out if you ever feel inclined, but the big thing is just to emphasize you guys are our family. We very seriously take that to heart from the moment you guys walk in the door. So if there's ever anything going on in your personal lives, please just keep us aware so that we at the very least can be doing anything in our means to support you guys. We do love to pray on your behalf. And if that's something you're comfortable with, please let us know because we're happy to do that for you. If you believe in prayer power and you think the bigger the better, we're happy to share it with the whole market center if that's something that speaks to you and you think would be helpful. So keep us aware of what's going on in your lives because we want to make sure that we're at least here to support you as much as we can through that. So please know that you are a family and we take that very seriously. So keep us aware. Just below that is KW Perks. So independent contracting is something that sometimes means that we don't get insurance through work anymore, and I'm so sorry. But if you guys are kind of curious of, okay, I do need, like, you know, my previous job is where my insurance was held. Now I'm looking for insurance. KW Perks has been recently launched within this year. And we partnered with Capstone Financial. So it allows you guys to search the insurance marketplace and find great rates. And on average, I know agents are saving upwards of 10%. I can't speak to the exact percentage figure, but I know it's over 10% that they're saving on a regular basis. So if you guys either do not have insurance and are looking for it, or maybe you have insurance, but it can't hurt to see if there's something better out there, keep that in mind because it's something that you're welcome to access. It'll just ask for a bit of information about you before you jump in and can get started looking at different plans available. We talked about the discount codes for real estate education. We talked about scheduling a conference room is available here. Strategic vendor partners, I will click on for you guys. This will take you to a spreadsheet, a Google sheet that is a live document. So if at any time things change, you'll see it immediately reflected on here. But if you maybe didn't get a chance to join that vendor Facebook page just yet, but I really want to know who can I reach out to for transaction coordination or for construction, you guys can search through this spreadsheet. It's all organized by industries and fields. It's just under here, strategic vendor partners. I was like, I can see that you're looking for how I got there. I got you covered. So when you are in here, it will show you the company that these individuals work for, our specific contact, all of their information, the services they offer, their website. It's very well comprised into one spot so that you guys can easily say to your client, oh, I know 3 people. Yeah, reach out to all 3 of them, find out what you think will work best. We'll get quotes from each of them and you can decide based off of your own judgment what you think you'd feel most comfortable pursuing. It's a very easy way for you guys to look great because you will have all these resources available to you. And again, in the event that maybe you didn't join the Facebook page or maybe you're just having issues getting into Facebook that day, because sometimes that happens with technology, this Google Sheet here, guys, will have all of this information shared. And like I said, it's a live document. So if at any point we add a vendor, I'll be adding them that same day and you'll be able to see it that same day as well. The other thing to mention is you'll notice that, for example, under floor cleaners, we only have stat floor cleaning right now. This is an opportunity for you guys. If you've ever met anybody that does something like this or worked with them and you're like, oh my gosh, I have somebody come and do my landscaping every single day and they're amazing. I love their work. You guys can suggest people to add to our vendor program as well. That's something that you guys can do to help out your friend who's a landscaper, and that also is going to help you out as well, just by having easier access to them, I think. So please keep that in mind. We are constantly looking to make sure our vendor program is very stacked and has a lot of great individuals on it with plenty of options as well. So in the event that you guys have someone you'd like to recommend, we'd love to be in contact with them. And all it is you just have to email PJ Kennedy and introduce him to this individual via email. So CC the person that you're trying to connect him with, and PJ will give him a call. He'll talk to them about all of the vendor programs, so you don't even have to worry about that. He'll go over the benefits and what the cost associated is. And if they're still interested in joining the program, then they're able to pursue from that point on. But that's all you have to do is pass the baton, send out the introduction, and he'll take over from there. And he has, I believe, business cards up at the front desk. So if you guys need his contact info, if you don't have it, his contact information is at the front desk. And then we've got, for example, Think Like a CEO podcast. Again, if it interests you, podcast listeners, that's a great one. It's actually Gary Keller himself and Jay Papazan. They're going over the entrepreneurial mindset, making sure your business is set up for success. There's an entire season in there just actually based on the idea of your finances for your business. So lots of great information shared there. If it's something that appeals to you, we'd love to see you check it out. And then the last thing that I will point out in this drop-down menu is the Outfront magazine. Again, if you want to have a heavy social media presence, ladies, and you're just struggling, like, what do I want to say today? Outfront magazine actually does a monthly publishment that shows you literally every single day, here's what you should post. It's not necessarily word for word every time. Sometimes it's just a suggestion, but you guys can take that and run with it very easily. So it simplifies the process, a little less brain power, a lot more presence, and it's just a little bit easier. So if that's something that appeals to you based off of your marketing strategies, that is absolutely something to use. And the last thing I'll point out here is this I Need Tech Help button in the very top corner. If you click on that, it will take you directly to Jules and Leah's calendar. So it's very easy to book time with them. You guys can also scan the QR code on their office door if you're in the office, but it's very simple. You can click on the particular date. You can select the available time slot. It'll ask you for your information. You can specify if you'd like to meet in person or through Zoom. Very, very easy. You can even tell them what you want to talk about so they can prepare adequately for the appointment ahead of time so you can maximize those 30 minutes. But they do offer free consultations for those 30 minutes. So please, please, please meet with them. Even if you think I'm brand new, I don't know what to talk about with you guys, they will give you some foundational pieces that you guys should be working on in the next couple of weeks that they encourage you to do with your technology. And then as you guys build and grow, if at any point you're like, I hate social media, but it's working for my business, what do I do? You can talk to Jules and Leah. They offer concierge marketing services. So you can easily say, hey, I'd be interested. Do you guys offer a package where you do my social media for me? So I don't have to do that, but it's still working on my behalf. They do that, and they will gladly go over pricing with you and offer you plans that are custom built for your business. They will take care of that part for you so that you have one less thing on your plate. So keep that in mind as you guys build and grow. They're here to help you guys, especially if you're like, yep, I love real estate. I love the conversations. I love the sales. I hate the technology. They're here to help with that part. So that's the majority, I would say probably 80 to 90% of KWB resources. There are obviously some things we did not click on today, but you are welcome to explore those in your own free time. There is there's now two things additional that I'd like to share with you if you can hang out with me for like 5 more minutes. And that is going to be through mykw.kw.com. So it's a separate website, but it's going to actually answer the questions that you brought to me at the beginning of our orientation in terms of how you can find contact information for other agents, and more importantly, how you guys can communicate with everybody all at once. So if you guys will bear with me, it's mykw, I got to type it in again anyways, mykw.kw.com. And when you guys arrive at that website, you'll see that it's asking for login information. And this login information is going to be the same as your command login. It's the same information we created when the two of us met. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my information just so you guys can see everything I'd like to share. We're just going to go over 2 quick things. So when you arrive in mykw, KW.com. It always trips me up. This is what you guys will see. Where you guys would like to go. The first thing I'm going to share with you guys, actually, just to answer your question first, Iris, I'll show you the white pages first, and then I'll show you guys how to do an email blast to everyone in the office. So the white pages, so what I do is I scroll straight to the bottom, and in the bottom right here under quick links, you'll see 6 different things listed. The top right of those things is white pages. You click on white pages. It's going to ask you right here. So it's basically, this is an internal search engine for all of Keller Williams, ladies. So if you guys are looking for somebody, maybe they're in this office, maybe you know that they're at KW South Park and you just need their contact information. If you click associate information, the top of these 4, it'll ask you to type in someone's first name and their last name. You can even fill in other information. Maybe you're just searching for people in Charlotte, right? You guys have a lot of opportunity here to custom your searches based around what you're looking for. But if I search, for example, I'll search Carrie McGregor for you, just to make it even more true. So when you search Carrie McGregor, it'll open up, this is Carrie. She's right here, and her information has shown. You can see right here as you scroll through. Oh, there's her phone number. And then you can see where her email is included as well at the bottom here. So it does show you a lot of their contact information. It shows you a lot about the associate, but mainly it really just kind of reiterates, hey, they're a KW. You're good. Yes.
So I just tried to search her, and obviously I don't know how to spell her name. It doesn't come up.
So it's,
you need to know
yes,
how to
you
spell
do need how to spell their name. So it's Kari. Yep, that's her first name. And then McGregor, which is McGregor. I just stumbled through that. That was a little upsetting. So that should bring her up for you. Yep. Yes, ma'am. And that should bring her right up.
Kari.
Yes, ma'am. Did it say any reason why?
So
Okay.
I have to spell the last name with a capital M?
No, I did not, but you should be able to search for her. And I can, maybe I missaid it, but I don't have any paper. I have this paper. Carrie McGregor.
McGregor.
EGOR. Okay. You might just want to exit out of that search and then try again, just by clicking on white pages again, but it should come up for you. You're going to hit the white pages button, and then you'll hit the associate information. Oh, I'm sorry. I know. It's never fun. The good news is that the easiest way to weed it out, from my understanding, is they never want to meet in person. They never want to meet in person. So if you, right. And you're like, okay, that makes total sense. Yep.
Put it in. So this is the spelling.
Oh,
correct?
so that's first name. And then there's a separate field for last name. Nope. It's honestly, everything's a little bit different. It's very hard and you have to be like super cognizant. So that probably is the only reason that hasn't come up for you yet. So I will show you guys as you prepare to do that. The last thing that I like to share with you is how to do that office email blast. So that is going to be very close by to our white pages button. It's actually going to be the one to the bottom left. It's going to say MC350 intranet. So instead of white pages, we're going down here to the left. It's MC350 intranet. If you click on that, it will open up to, again, a little library here that's stored of all of these posts that our agents have put in, that I have put in as leadership. But it does take you to one neat spot where all of that information is logged. And it's all showing there for a certain amount of time and for a certain amount of additional posts. If at any point something disappears, you guys can easily use the search button here, search keywords, and you'll be able to see Like if you were looking for something of mine, you were looking for, when did Liz say that mindset class was? You could search mindset and it should come up for you. But I'm going to close out of that. The big reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because I want you to be able to send out your own posts and email blasts. Anything that you guys post will go out as an email blast. So that's kind of the beauty, is that by posting something, you're email blasting, and it's going to go to all of our agents and even our leadership team. So yes. So if you have a question, or if you're trying to say like, hey, my seller needs to get rid of all their furniture. Like, hey, does anybody have interest in this recliner? Anything, washer dryer set? Sometimes people, if they can't find something in MLS that's matching their buyer's criteria, or maybe they're looking for a short-term rental for someone, you guys can post that in here and people will see that come through to their email. They can easily respond to you. But when you go to create your own, you will hit the add a post button. It's nice and red, stands out at the top. For you, the Market Center post at the top here will be grayed out. But you guys will use the associate post button because you are an associate. And then it will ask you to select a channel. This does not do anything to the visibility of your post unless somebody's choosing to filter by a specific channel. But find something that speaks to what you're announcing, whether it's just generalized, which is the announcement button. Maybe it's a have or want, or I'm looking for a vendor. Maybe it's about an open house. You guys can share your open houses as well. But if you guys were doing the general agent announcement button, it's going to ask you for a post title. It's got a maximum of 100 characters here, and that's going to come through as the subject line of your email. It'll ask you, is there a link or a file that you would like to upload to go with this? You're welcome to do so, not a required field. And then the post blurb here, you have a max of 190 characters. So you guys can share a quick little gist of what you're trying to share. I know 190 characters is not a lot. It gets to me every single time. So a lot of times what I have the issue of is my stuff does not fit into that small box. So what I usually do is I type my 1 or 2 sentences and then I say see full post. That way, anybody who's receiving my email knows that there's additional information being shared, because when that email comes through for these agents, it's going to show your subject line, your post title. It's going to show you your post blurb as the body of the email. And then it's going to have a button in blue that says view full post. So if you tell someone view it, they can click right on that button to jump over here. All you have to do to add more information beyond this blurb, ladies, is there's an add full message button just below. This allows you to type as much information as you need as freely as you'd like to. So you can fill out a ton of great detail if you need to, but this would not be visible through the email unless they hit that view full post button. So you're going to have your subject line is that post title, your post blurb is your email body, full message is just additional information they can reference. And when all that is said and done, you love your post, you're ready to send it out, all you have to do is hit the publish post button in red. It'll take a few minutes because there's just so freaking many of us here, but it's going to send out to every single one of us. So we'll all see that come through via our email, and all you had to do is hit the publish post button. It will live in that little library that we opened up to initially for up until like too many people have posted since then, but it will still be searchable. So if they're like, oh my gosh, I know that Angel posted something about an open house. I think it was, it was on Try On. Let me search Try On and it'll come up. So you guys will have an opportunity to get your message out to everyone with very minimal effort on your part, which I think is key. We want to be able to communicate effectively and efficiently. And then you also will be able to get communications from people simultaneous to that, who are advertising their open houses or maybe looking for someone to host one. So it's a great way for you guys to be aware of what's going on, opportunities available to you so that you guys can also take advantage. But that is everything that I share and then some. So I apologize for going way, way over today. I'm so sorry, but I appreciate your patience and your participation, ladies. Are there any questions that are pressing on our minds that we did not get a chance to ask thus far?
Yeah, so if I am trying to reach out to somebody and I don't know the spelling of their name, what do you suggest I do?
So if it's someone in this office, you're welcome to just ask Sue. because Sue has a roster of all of our agents. You can ask me, you can ask Lynn, we can all pull that up. If it's someone outside of this office, I would do your best probably to Google search and try to find that person and the correct spelling of their name. Because a lot of times Google's a lot more friendly with that. They'll give you, did you mean? And then they'll give you like the correct spelling, or they'll show you pictures and that helps to put it together. So once you have the correct spelling, and if you have not yet stumbled across their contact information in that time, then that would be an opportunity to go to the white pages. But just to reiterate, the white pages is only KW agents. So if you guys are looking for like, oh, somebody, I know this guy on the cross sale, his name is Bob Parks and he's from Allen Tate. Let me make sure that I reach out to the Allen Tate agent about this. If you're looking for his contact information, I'd probably Google search him. I can do it. All right. I am KW Orientation. Oh, thanks for putting the date there, because I'm always like, ooh, what is today? But yes, and then if any additional questions come up, I know this was a ton of information on top of all the tons you've already been given. So no, exactly. So please feel free to come to me with any questions that come up, whether that's via email or if that means that you guys are meeting with me, whatever that looks like. But if not any of that, kind of what Angel's been doing is go back through the website at your leisure when it makes sense. Before we're frantic about something, go through the website, just see if you remember where things were located. But if you're like, I'm looking for the one thing, I'm looking for those KW perks, I want to search insurance, but I don't remember where Liz said that was, email me, call me. I'm happy to answer, guys, and just make sure you have the guidance. You guys can also easily reference any of the recordings of our orientation on our YouTube channel. And you guys will be able to rewatch this as often as you'd like, until you feel like you're comfortable with finding things, if that's something you think you need. So yes, yay. Thank you 1,000 times over. I know you've had a long day, so please feel free to go home and relax, whatever that looks like. Maybe. I know. And I try not to give you too much. I promise it's the only homework I'll ever give you. So at least you guys can count on that. Of course. And like I said, anytime you guys have questions, especially if whether it's a me question or an I just don't know who to ask question, I am here to help take care of that for you and connect you with who's got the answer, or I'll just go get it for you. So of course. I got you, ladies. I just want to make sure everyone feels comfortable, confident, super excited to be part of KWB through and through all of your time here. So, oh my gosh, that's so flattering. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. You just made my day, actually. I'm so flattered. I can't wait to tell Teresa that. I'll be like, me and you, girl, we did it. I know. I always think that too. Like, I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, but like, I always think that